Okay, so how you doing, Chris?
Good. How you doing tonight, my friend? Or
I'm
early
doing good.
morning, however you look at it.
Yeah, it is. It's one. I'm a night guy now because I stay up all night long. I go to bed at like 6 in the morning.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Damn, 6 in the morning. Seriously?
yeah. So when I wake up, it's like for me, I work from 3 to 11 right now. So I wake up at like 1.
Oh, so you can pretty much sleep the whole day away and you got to worry about anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty much in the same boat. As you know, I have two jobs, and the main one happens to be a night shift. The second one, a pseudo night shift. They kind of screwed me over on that one, but we don't have to go into detail about that. But I'm pretty much almost on the same schedule you are. But it seems like you're a little later than me because I usually crash about maybe no later than 4 or so. But yeah, it's the same chunk.
It's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go to McDonald's at 3 in the morning and get some coffee.
You know what I'd be getting, man, is a freaking McFlurry, bro. Yeah.
Well, you know what? This McDonald's over here doesn't.
Wait, what?
Well, they stopped serving ice cream at 2 in the morning.
Oh, why would
I
you
don't really
do
know
that?
why. I think it's
Why?
just because they're lazy.
Oh my God.
Like, I have a feeling if I went in there during the day and I was like, let me speak to your manager, and we don't need any YouTube throwdowns going on. I just want a McFlurry at 2 in the morning.
Don't worry, I'm not recording this right now. Just give me a dang McFlurry. That's all I want.
Yeah, because you should. I heard somewhere that McDonald's is trying to do a breakfast all the time deal.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. Have they started doing that yet? I don't know.
I don't know,
You know,
but
you know what I've also heard is that they're going down the crapper, man. Apparently.
they're already in the crapper.
Yeah.
It's
But
just people.
isn't that
People
funny
are
though? Think, man.
apparently just
McDonald's.
starting to realize that.
Yeah, isn't it funny? Like McDonald's is gonna be like a legend that's going through times. Like I would be surprised. You know what surprised me is if they like disappeared out of existence.
Well,
You know,
what would be awesome?
yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of McDonald's. I love
You
McDonald's.
know what? I do too. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm sorry. I know it's bad for you food, but I love McDonald's, man. I love it.
Like I saw this video the other day, and we've all seen the pink goop,
Oh, right, the slime.
or whatever that's supposed to be. I don't know if that's real or not, but
They admittedly said that they stopped putting that in the food a while ago. Which
isn't
actually, when I heard a little fact check on it, it was actually kind of recent in the timeline of things. But yeah,
so someone sent me this video, and it was like this. He was like a chef, and he's like, all right, I want to show you. He like got a group of people together, and he's like, I want to show you guys, what goes into your McDonald's. And so he brought out a cow, and he like showed us all the different areas of the cow, and
the parts.
yeah. And so then he's like, all right, so this is like your prime rib or whatever. This is your tenderloin, and then he's like, and so this is all the shit that's left over, all the like the tendons and like all the shit and the bones and stuff.
Hmm.
And they pretty much just douse that shit in ammonia to get rid of the salmonella and everything, and
Yeah,
just
to
grind
kill
it up.
everything, right?
And they like grind it up and put it in your burgers. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, I'm never eating McDonald's again." And I was like, "You want to get some McDonald's?" I just don't care. It's not enough to keep me away.
You know, it's funny you mentioned this topic because me and my other half we were talking about this recently. I believe it was McDonald's. It is the whole same kind of topic, or how I was saying that that apparently they've been in the fire recently with business and they're not doing well. But we were saying it's just like what it is. It's like McDonald's just needs to freaking stick to crappy ass fast food. Like they need to stop like putting out all these products because people are like, oh, that food's crap. Like I'm not gonna eat that or whatever. They're trying to get all these people who don't want to eat that and get them in their clientele. So they're spreading themselves thin. Have you seen like all the freaking the burgers they're offering now and stuff? It's like order this fancy ass like burger with romaine lettuce on top of it. McDonald's. No. No, that's not what I think when I go there to eat, It's like, it's fast food. Like, I'm almost willing to bet that's half the reason why they're losing out on money, is like they're spreading themselves too thin. They're trying to like attack the healthy market, but that's not their market, period. That was never their niche, their market. It was always a fast food.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying?
I
So,
wonder what the original McDonald's burgers were like when they first
you know
opened those
what? They were
doors.
probably amazing because I
Yeah,
believe
they
that business started in the 20s or something like that. No,
yeah.
40s and
So
50s, I think, or something.
I don't think anyone alive now
Oh, that'd be a good project.
You know what I mean? Like remembers,
Yeah.
and can compare like, holy shit, this isn't a McDonald's hamburger,
Yeah.
But I think McDonald's, I heard McDonald's was hurting. I don't know how bad they're hurting.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to me though, because it's like, I mean, they're hurting, but what does that really mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's McDonald's. They're like a global, international, business
Are,
company.
are they going, is it like Blockbuster style bankruptcy? Or,
You know what? I kind of doubt that. I
yeah, I
don't
don't
think it would
think,
happen, but I think it is what they realize is that they're starting not to make as like, you have a business graph model of like your money and stuff, how it goes up after a while. I think
hmm
they've started to notice kind of like a plateau and maybe a slight dip in it, because everybody start to wake up to that type of mentality of what's in my food, what am I putting in my body.
hmm
So everyone's like, of course, I know, we both know what McDonald's has in their food. It's crap. It's fast food. Then like apparently all these people who are becoming, either getting on that trend or becoming enlightened into that aspect of food, realize what's in it. They're like, okay, I'm not gonna buy that anymore. But honestly, as long as you still have your like broken down middle class and your poor class, they're still gonna freaking buy McDonald's because it costs like how many bucks per
yeah, exactly.
per the amount of food you get.
You
You
can get
know?
that. I've never gotten that. Have you ever seen that like family meal or whatever it is?
No, enlighten
It's
me.
like a big box and you get like, a bunch of burgers and fries and stuff
Yeah.
for a real reasonable price. So I think for a lot of people, yeah, they have to eat McDonald's. They have no choice.
Yeah, like you look at low income class people, like,
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna eat. If they're not making some cheap food at home and they're out and about and wanting to get some, yeah, it's gonna be that, fast food joint with a dollar menu or cheap food.
I
It's
want I
cheap,
want
it's fast, it's easy, and bam.
I want to find a girl who the type of girl I want is a girl who's cool with McDonald's.
Oh, we're getting into chicks now here. We're getting into the whole, okay, go on. I want to
I
hear what you
was
have to say with this. I want to hear what you have to say.
I was just thinking about I was just thinking about what you were saying,
Yeah.
and I was picturing taking a girl, like a wife or whatever,
Hmm.
like that's cool with going to McDonald's. Like, you want to go out? Yeah, but we have to go to McDonald's. No problem.
I'm not gonna fight you on that one.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to live in a McDonald's family. Like a family that's not, above McDonald's.
Yeah. Well,
Because these people, these healthy people, I mean, yeah, it's good to be healthy, but
hmm
I don't know, man. It just seems like so much work. It's so much work.
It is.
If
It
you
is.
try to,
Yeah.
if you wake up one day and you're like, all right, I got to be healthy now. I got to be one of these people that's, running 5 miles a day and,
Hmm.
working out all the time and eating like, basically vegetarian meals with really lean chicken once in a while. I mean, that's really hard to do. And so, rolling through McDonald's and just getting some of those tasty burgers, and see, that's more enjoyable to me than working out and being fit.
Hmm.
Because I mean, it's just the amount of work and the amount of, you know, maintenance that goes
Right.
into like being like looking like, I don't know, like one of these awesome, these people that are just super fit,
Hmm.
and then they can't eat the food that's good.
So
you know?
they don't really enjoy life. Is
That's
that what
kind
you're
of
kind
how
of
I
getting
feel.
at?
It's
Yeah.
like I look awesome, but I can't like eat McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you get out of here, please?
Yeah, you freaking animal. What you doing? You're ruining this.
No animals.
No animals allowed.
Go.
This is No Animals Podcast. Get the hell
Don't
out
give
of
me
here.
that look and don't wipe your butt on my carpet.
Oh crap! Are they doing that? My cat does that every once in a while, but it's not to piss, because they're pissed off at you. But we won't get into that topic.
So anyway, what were we talking about?
Yeah, we were just talking about McDonald's and how everyone has become, everyone's kind of, I guess you could call it the tipping point.
Are we
Socially.
recording right now?
Yeah, we're recording everything
By
we've
the
been
way?
talking. Yes, we're on the air. We're on the air, my
Okay.
friend. We are on
Because
the
this
air. Yeah, we're in 9 minutes and 40 seconds. So we got 5 more minutes to talk about daily stuff, and we're gonna be moving on.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't really sure what we were focusing in on there. I was just kind of
No, we're
rambling.
just talking. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. McDonald's is the talk of the day. Fast food is the talk of the day. You know.
Hmm. And even, I kind of feel like people that say they don't. I feel like a lot of people say one thing like in public to people,
Mm.
and then they do a lot of different stuff behind the scenes when nobody's
Oh
looking.
yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
You
That's
know what I'm
almost like
saying?
how I feel about like religion and religious people, and I know a lot of people like that, and I've heard stories of people talk about people like that. Is like the true, really good salt of the earth religious people are ones that run with it, and they don't mess with you, or they don't like. For example, there's somebody that I know that worked with somebody. Like they're that hardcore strict religious person, but you know what they do behind their back is they'll take something from their room, or they'll take their work and not give credit for it or whatever, and just screw them over. You know, it's like religion. Religion doesn't make people with shitty personalities better. Like you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's just it's I don't know. I don't even know where the hell we're going with that. What were we talking about anyway? Oh, right, how people are two-faced and eating
Yeah,
like they
like
say like
all
they
the
want to
people.
be, oh, I want to be all super athletic and fit or whatever, but like behind doors they're gobbling down like 50 quarter pounders with cheese or whatever, you know?
Yeah, like or I'm against, not like I mean, I'm talking about these people that are like, "Oh, they're always posting this stuff about animals and, animal cruelty and how we shouldn't be eating them and stuff."
Oh,
And
right, right.
I feel bad about that. It's true, but I
It's
feel like
important.
I'm still gonna
You're still gonna eat food.
yeah, like I'm still gonna eat chicken. Like when I eat a piece of chicken,
Uh-huh.
I'm not worried about what kind of life that chicken had.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just
you're not
glad it
thinking
ended in
about
my
that. You're not
mouth.
thinking about it. You're just worried about food. So you're buying it. You're buying food that's already done, prepared, made, and final product. You're not buying a food. When you eat meat, you're not thinking about, oh, that meat had to go through a slaughter to die to freaking, get processed and brought to me, and I bought it for some freaking paper, or, well, actually these days it's plastic because the whole world runs on plastic and oil, but we won't go into that topic for this debate. But, you get it and you don't think about what happens to the animal. You don't even think that it is an animal. That's not something you clicks in your head, Usually when you eat it, you're just like, food, put it in my mouth, and that's it, you know? But,
Yeah.
well, it is what it is, I mean, I understand it, but I don't think about it a lot. But
Yeah, it's like
I
a
do
hot dog.
think
Like
if they are going to be bred to eat food, yes, they should have better live. They should have decent living conditions. I
like
get that. I feel that. And they should be humanely put down. You know.
I mean, did you ever see that movie? Any of those movies? I saw Food Inc. I think it was,
Oh
and
right, yes.
they like somehow I don't know how they got some of that footage. That always interests me, like how these guys were able to pull that off. Because I don't think they must have lied or something. Like I don't think people would be doing what they were doing if
Well,
I don't know. But
you know
anyway,
what it probably was is somebody working in the business and they thought it was wrong and they recorded it, underneath people's noses, or they paid somebody who was in there doing it.
and it doesn't look good what was going on with some of those
Well,
chickens
no,
and cows and pigs and stuff.
no, yeah.
But on the other hand, to me, it's kind of like, did you guys think like that none of that was ever like a happy, pretty picture?
No, it never was. No,
Like there's no, what did you think was going on? Like they were pampered or like, in
right.
a little animal like hotel, like waiting room, like with drinks and stuff. Like what did you think was going on? Like these people are having to kill these animals to bring you food that you want to
Right.
eat.
Yeah. Well,
So,
you got to think about it. There's no way in hell it's going to be like that. One, because it's industrialized.
mhm.
You have like millions of people that need to consume that. So, and in business perspective, that's a waste of money to spend all that extra money just to pamper the animal when you're just going to feed them to fatten them up and then kill them so
Yeah,
someone eats them.
right.
You
Like they're
know?
gonna die. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna kill this animal at
Yeah.
some point if I fling him around a little bit. And plus, I think a lot of that is like they have to save time. You're like just toss those
Yeah.
chickens in
No.
there.
Well, yeah. The part of it is because there's too many of us. That's just
Yeah,
how it
it's
is. It's not. It has to be done that way.
it's funny, man. I keep coming like every time I hear complaints, like human complaints about the way things are going in the world, the common denominator is humans. It's human
Oh
beings.
yes, that's
You know,
that's a
when
good point.
when you see these movies,
Yeah.
kind of like the Matrix, like with Smith, and he's talking about how human beings are like a disease, and
Or like a virus, yeah.
yeah, like he's not wrong, you know. Like we're the problem here. I mean, we're polluting the
Well,
planet,
yeah.
and we are the ones we're human. It's just humans are a problem. Like even the best of us are still. I don't know. I'm just not that. I'm not that impressed with human beings, I guess you could say. So, like, you know, people, you see these people that are kind of like hypocrites, I guess you could say. They say they don't want to eat at McDonald's, but you see those lines at McDonald's.
Right,
And who
yeah.
are those people? Like, are these like the people of like, like the poor people? Not necessarily. And then you got people that, you know, they're trying to be all politically correct, but I feel like underneath the surface, everyone's like a little hateful towards somebody, you know, like,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I feel like some people are either a little bit racist or, and that's, I mean, you know,
Oh, don't even go into that racist crap right now. That'll be half the whole another thing, my friend. You and I have had discussions about that in the media
or like porn.
in
Porn
regards
is,
to separating people right now. But
you know what's interesting about porn to me is you got all these people because you know there's people that watch it that are fine with people knowing they watch it, but there's a lot of people that don't want you to know they watch it. But I think a lot of people that you wouldn't think are watching porn too. I would bet that most people are watching porn. I mean, just think about like how much money that industry brings in
oh, it's crazy,
and like how much of it's free. So
right?
you got all these people buying this stuff and all the people watching it for free. So that's got to be, I mean,
You know what though? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, though, at the end of the day, like, what really is a big deal with that? Why is it such a big deal? You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I do know what you're talking
Like,
about.
I understand there's a bunch of, you know, there's a bunch of bad stuff that goes in like the porn industry, you know, because it is what it is, you know. It's like Hollywood with stars, except it's just glorified in the physical, sexual, you know, ways of the human body. Um, you know, so people in the industry, yeah, you know, and there's sometimes I can see how people get abused or whatever, but you know what you're getting into, you know. I mean, you're doing that there for that thing alone. You're getting money for it, so you know, whatever. But I mean, what's so wrong about porn? Like, I don't understand that. What is so wrong about people learning, exploring their bodies, learning to pleasure themselves instead of going out and knocking somebody up, getting some kind of virus, dying some kind of disease, you know? What's wrong with that? Unless it's like an actual problem where it's an addiction, then yes, I can see that it's a problem. But why is there an issue with sexuality in porn? Like, I don't understand that. In the end of the day, yeah, you're still going to go watch porn to, you know, get off for a quick second or something, you know,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Like
So, like,
everybody.
what's the problem with it? Like, I mean, I understand, like, one, you don't want to get that into, well, obviously, kids, because they just don't need to be in that territory. That's just wrong. Like,
You mean
kids,
kids in it?
no, no, no. I'm not talking about, like, actual, no, no, no. I
What do you
meant,
mean
like,
the kids?
kids being, they happen to see porn on accident or
Oh,
something, right?
kids seeing porn.
Yeah, right. Or they'll get it on the internet. If you don't have adult, you know, restrictions on like your devices, they'll if they
Hmm.
happen to get on like a 10, 11-year-olds, you better bet that they might come across that, like look at
They're gonna
that.
find it.
Yeah. And I understand you're not going to want to expose them to that when they're early anyway. And like that's not something you should do. But I mean, like if you're a normal 18-year-old, you know, you're old enough, you're past your teens, and you're well past kids in their teens start thinking about it and go out and doing that shit. But you know, then that's where I can understand, like, yeah, you want to be educated, you know, and smart about it, and you know, no, you know, pregnancy, you know, all that type of stuff. But like, why is it such a big fucking deal? You know, like
Hmm.
unless there's like those main things that are wrong with like an addiction or you know an age thing or whatever. Like if someone actually uses porn to the right use that it's for, like what's the big deal about it? You know, they're not going out trying to freaking have sex or to God forbid rape somebody or knock somebody up, you know, whatever. Like is that really a bad thing? No. So why the hell are you making it a bad thing? Like
Mm.
it's like anything else. It's like not the porn, it's not the guns, it's the person. You know?
Yeah, because everyone wants to watch it. I
Yeah,
mean, it's almost like you know you're there's this stigma like you're not supposed to watch it, but Like somewhere along the lines, people have made that, statement like you shouldn't be doing that. But
Yeah.
everyone's doing it. In fact, I see on the on the news, there's these statistics, even in like Middle Eastern countries, like religious countries are having some serious, like the Middle East and India.
Oh God, yeah.
Porn is on the
Well, you
rise.
know why? Because they're getting a hike in their freaking awareness. Everyone's realizing what century they live in.
Yeah.
Like all these archaic, religious or even cultural, um, uh, you know, I don't know if stipulations would be the right word to use, but like cultural like things that you can't do. Or like women are looked upon as like a lesser being over there. It's like all kinds of things are going through the freaking roof because people now they're not taking that crap anymore. They're like, we don't
Hmm.
live in some like old times where that's like everybody feels the same way about that shit because we don't.
Yeah.
But all these people who are still all in the old mind frame with whether it be religion or cultural, they just don't break out of it, and there's a clash between the people that are evolving and the people that are still stuck in the way of the past. You know?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. So I'm telling you, man, here's the thing. Like God is, it's kind of like in religious and spiritual groups and circles, they tell you that God doesn't want you to be, it's just tough because if they didn't want us, like if we weren't designed to want to like see that stuff or what it's a hell of a pull.
Hmm.
It gets the best of us. I mean, it's one thing to be like, oh, you shouldn't be lustful, so just keep that under control. But I mean, you look at like forget just regular people. I mean, like people in church, like priests, like it gets to the point where they can't like handle the suppression.
Hmm.
And so to me, it's like you said, it's like God damn. I mean, damn, it's just it's like the pull is so strong in many cases that I don't know. I don't know why it's so strong if we're not supposed to be doing it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
that's what bothers me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of getting to the point where it's like, well, you know, it's like you said, you're not there's no like disease involved. Nobody's getting hurt. There's nobody and some people are like, oh, well, you're watching people having sex. That so you got to be kind of like there's got to be something wrong with that. But
Uh,
with I think watching porn is a little bit different than like sneaking into your neighbor's house and watching them have sex.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because porn, everyone involved in porn is making it for you to watch it. You know,
Exactly. It's an art.
so like it's a little bit different because they're that's what they're doing. Like they want you to watch it. That's why they're making it.
And God forbid something like, what's the worst that happens if you do that stuff? You make a mess?
Yeah.
Da-da dunch. But yeah, it's again, I guess it's funny I talk about archaic ways of thinking because that's exactly what we're talking about in terms of porn. That's where the division is, huh? It's like you got the people like what really is the big deal? Like the down to earth people, real they know the truth about it. Like okay, what's the big deal about porn? What is it? Then you got the freaking the crazy religious people like, don't touch yourself, that's a sin. No, it's like okay, I'm going to, so fuck
Yeah,
off.
I understand. I understand. Yeah, it's like I understand that, but if it requires that kind of purity to get back into heaven or whatever, we got a long way to go, bro.
That's a joke, man. No, that's a total and complete joke, because I guarantee you that's not how it is at all, my friend. I guarantee you when you die from this plane, you pass on, people are gonna like fucking... Maybe their spirit will shit themselves or something, I don't know, but they'll realize what it's really like, and it's a little... I think it's a little different than what the norm would think it is,
Hmm.
what happens to you. Because if you just think about what consciousness is, that thought alone is a crazy concept. But if there is something as an afterlife, I would highly doubt that it's just you go to some freaking place where you're judged like that, I'm not saying that it wouldn't play into something possibly like if we're talking about like, past lives or like another life or something. Like, yeah, maybe that might determine the next life you're in, the situation that you pop in as in, but I don't think it's just like you die and you're stuck in limbo being judged and you're going to go to some fluffy cloud place in heaven floating above the skies or some freaking hell down below the earth where it's hot and you got freaking red devils poking you in the ass because you did some, bad shit that the books say you can't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But, and I mean, that's a very extreme, like, thought of, like, or, thought about heaven and hell, a very cookie cutter thought, but,
Yeah, so, so what were we at on the time there?
we're in 25 minutes, so we can wrap it up. And
Should we be talking about something else?
Yeah, we can move on. I think so far we covered McDonald's. So far we covered porn. So far we covered, what it's like to pass on heaven and hell, red devils and stuff like that. Let's get to the.
This is supposed to be a podcast about awareness, and somehow we dove right into the gutters of like, right off the bat.
Awareness.
Welcome to Illumination Nation. Let's talk about Big Macs and boobies.
Yeah. Because that's where you have to start, my friend, first. Is you got to get down with the physical before you get down with the, stuff you don't see.
But, I think it's a good thing because I think a lot of people, there's a lot of, it's kind of like what we were saying, there's a lot of religious people and a lot of spiritual people out there that are suppressing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they need to wake up, man. They need to wake up. They need to realize, like...
we need to tame our animal nature by working with it, not by,
not shunning it. Not suppressing it or shunning it. We need to learn. We all need to be freaking scientists and just, reflect and critically and analytically think about things and not just, let things that we've been force-fed on a spoon ever since we were, little babies, thoughts that person wanted to give us or, whatever, to be, like, set in stone like how we see the world and how it's going to be because it's not all like that. It's, we need to move on and it's just crazy. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy time. People are thinking, I do feel like, people want to move on. It's just there's that clash between, jumping over the gap to make it to the other side. But
yeah. Well, so and I think it's helpful to be open for people to open up and embrace their, I guess you could say their like shadow self or their darker self. Instead of like just, pushing it to the side and pretending like it's not there.
You know what's a good word for that? Being mindful of it.
Being mindful of the force.
The shadow, yes, the dark. We're talking the dark force here.
Well, we're I don't know if you ever. They have people out there that do what they call shadow work.
I have heard of that term, but I'm not very familiar with it. And go ahead.
You know who coined that term was Carl Jung, actually.
No way, really?
Yeah.
What's so funny? And I'll be brief about this. Is like, how time I was doing psychology in school for whatever psychology,
Mm-hmm.
He's the one guy that I never got into was Carl Jung, and ironically enough, he's the one guy that would fit perfectly, that I should have been researching with like his thoughts of psychology, because he seemed to have like a very spiritual is very basic and vague, but a very another way of thinking about that, tying in, what the facets of psychology that are less explored by the norm, by the main route of psychologist, like you said, like the shadow self type of stuff, like what was he getting with that? Like what did it exactly mean? How are you to work with it? How did it help you out better yourself, mentally when you started working with the shadow self?
Are you asking me a question?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Like, what is your experience with doing it? Have you had experience with working with your shadow self?
Yeah. So, I just wanted to say he was so advanced, really.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of psychology, and I think I don't know if he lived in did he live in the 20th century or the 19th century or?
No, I think he was in the 19th. He was in the
Like the 1800s.
No, hold on. I think it was 19. Of course, anybody that's listening to this right now is like, "You fucking moron." He was this period. No, it was kind of like yeah, he was kind of almost in the middle of both, it seems. Hold on here. Because he died in 1961, so that's still the 20th century, but he was born in 1875, so that's, 19th. So, yeah, that's... I mean, when was he doing the majority of his work? That's a good question. I mean, he started his universities and studies around 1912, 1913, so that's like when all the good stuff started happening, when like right before World War II started coming out. So he was definitely ahead of his time, and you're not joking with that.
Yeah, so
So go on.
he came up with he had theories about the collective consciousness of the planet and
Hmm.
the shadow self, your darker nature. And so the shadow, so I was like a little skeptical of it because I was doing the Kriya Yoga meditation,
Hmm.
with these gurus. And so I didn't, they don't really talk about that, the shadows. I mean, I guess that's kind of like the ego or whatever.
Yeah, I would say so.
But they're pretty much like just practice and like just keep practicing and stuff will come up and just keep practicing and you'll make it. But I ran into some people that are like, you need to confront your shadow side. And so I said, all right, I guess. I mean, let's see what you have to say. And so I was with this lady and she kind of like it's kind of like your unconscious mind type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
like the stuff that's in there.
Like your subconscious, kind of?
Well, that's kind of an interesting question you asked there because
Okay, go ahead.
I think they're two different things actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the unconscious mind is like a lot deeper than the subconscious.
Hmm.
The unconscious is more like the larger, like collective mind kind of thing.
Hmm.
That's really like, and so I think psychology and going to the therapist or whatever is, they might. I mean, if you get a good one, and I don't know why there's so many bland therapists. I just don't understand. Like people should be whatever Carl Jung was doing and Sigmund Freud. Like those guys, they need to study that and bring that to the table.
You want to know the answer to that? Why there's so many bland psychologists?
Why?
Because everybody was getting into that business for money,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
not the passion. I mean, and then you got the few that are talented and have the passion, which you'd be lucky as hell if you have that as for a psychologist.
Yeah.
But go on.
It'd be fun to be a psychologist, but I don't want to go to school for that long.
Yeah, right. No,
I mean,
tell
to
me
be
about
a
it.
real solid, like you gotta basically be a doctor, like a
That's why
PhD.
yours truly here never did that.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, and it's expensive. So, but it would be awesome to just sit there in an office, like in a nice chair, and listen to people's problems and eat candy.
Give them some kind of feedback.
It's like, all right, Wendy.
And then,
Well, why don't you just go on home and think about what you said here today, and I'll see you next week.
think about some things we talk about, and yeah, I'll see you, next week. You give me another freaking $500 for this visit, and we made some good progress. See you again soon.
I went to this guy. He was like, he was a doctor, and he went to Princeton actually, and he practices in gardens there off North Lake. And I went in, and he had a nice office, and he had candy, and we would sit there and talk about Star Wars and
And Jaws. No, sorry.
and he was like, what are the two things people want in life? Like what are the two most popular things people are after? And I'm like, what? And he's like, pizza and orgasms. And I was like, okay, doctor, all right. I like
That
where you're
sounds
going
like
with this.
I like where you're going with this.
So, I'm like,
And that's just the end of the conversation.
I'm
What
just
happened
like,
next? 'Cause
I could come up with that on my own. That's the thing. Like, I like what you're saying, but
that's a little weird. Why?
what did you study?
That's
Like,
a little weird for a psychologist to tell you that. Like they don't. That's a little weird, man.
yeah. And I wish it was a woman.
Yeah, right?
That would have been cool.
Maybe
Like,
he was gay
right
and he's trying to freaking, like,
it's possible, bro.
trying to
One
hit
time
on you or
I was
something.
telling him something, like, because I was seeing this guy, like, right in the same period of time in high school where I was kind of like discovering my spiritual side, I guess you could say.
Right.
And I had some insights for this doctor.
Whoa, what
Like
happened?
I had this period, like this office space period. You know how the guy kind of like snaps and he's just like in a whole new zone of functioning for a little while.
Right.
I kind of like hit something like that for a little bit, and so I was like, I was like, I felt like I had all this awareness, and so I walked in there, and I was like, I just like laid it out. Like, I was like, listen up, doc.
Huh?
What about this? And so I said all this stuff, and I can't really remember what it was, but he actually got up from his seat and came over and sat down next to me.
Weird. What happened next?
So he's like, tell me more.
He touched your no-no spot? No, sir, no.
I
Please
don't know, but I could definitely see he seemed like one of those casual like
Dude, a lot of
gay
the...
dudes.
Yeah.
Like they just do anything. Like they're married, but like for show almost or whatever.
Oh,
But
look, and anybody listening to this, don't get us wrong. We have nothing against gay people, so don't even start on that freaking trip. But it's
yeah,
just...
my first therapist was gay. Actually, I thought that
Then
was
he
funny.
shouldn't be... He shouldn't... To me, I think... Well, then you know what? You can't decide that, I guess. But I don't know if you're a therapist, you can't decide what sex you see. But if you're that bad, where like you're thinking about sex about a patient, then maybe you shouldn't be doing that. You know?
Well, yeah. I had this one therapist when I was younger, and I liked him a lot. He was really cool. And so one time he came to I was in like a play or something, and he came to see it. And my dad was there. My dad saw him, and my dad's like, "What's going on with that gay guy?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "That guy is gay." I said,
He's
"Are
my
you sure,
therapist.
Dad? Like, how do you know that?" And I guess so I guess because it was something he was wearing or his earring or something, some sign. So I was like, "Dad, don't say that."
He's my damn therapist. I don't want to think about
bear
that.
in mind, like I'm like 8 or something or 9, and I'm in a church play. So,
Wait, you got a therapist that young?
oh yeah, it started
Damn, bro.
when I was like 6.
Wow, I don't think... Okay,
And
anyway, go on.
the reason was because my parents divorced and my mom was doing group therapy and they thought it would be a good idea to get the kids into therapy because of the divorce.
I don't know. I think you shouldn't have kids involved in therapy that young unless there's like an obvious clinical issue, But anyway.
I think they were trying to prevent a clinical issue. I don't know what they were doing, but it was kind of fun for me. I mean,
Yeah, was it?
you sit down there actually focusing in on you for a little while and listen. It's kind of like a prostitute, but with no sex. It's like this hour is all about you.
It's
like,
mental.
finally.
It's like a mental prostitute.
Yeah. So I asked him. I walked in there and I sat down and I said, "Hey, Keith, are you gay?"
Wait, how old are you?
It's like 8.
Oh my god. Good.
I said, "My dad thinks you're gay. Are you?" And so what I'm saying, like, I don't want to be offensive here, but I'm just, I was a kid and I was, when you're a male, it's like you grow up in
Right.
that those mindset where like it's not good to be gay.
Right.
And so, I'm fine with gay people, but he's like, "Why, yes, I am, Justin." And I was like, "Holy crap." Like threw me for a loop because I wasn't used to like I think he was my first gay person I ever met,
Yeah.
And so then you take all that in and I was like, wow, what do I do with this? Like, am I, so anyway, yeah, I mean, gay, I mean, hey, if you want to be gay, no problem. To me, it's kind of like, if you want to be with a dude or whatever, or, that's fine. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I guess you just like them. You're attracted.
Yeah. You just attract to them. It's in your nature. Then
I find men to be repulsive animals.
it's just not your thing. You're not built for that. I mean, I guess that's essentially what makes people who really do like that like it. It's just it's in their nature. They like that. They find that appeasing. It turns them on.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. As long as you're in cahoots with other people that dig that too, then what's the issue? And if you're not hurting anybody, who gives a hell?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going out touching kids and stuff like that, that's a whole other thing. Then that's bad. Like,
yeah. Boy, this is one interesting conversation, I have to say.
Yeah, man. We got we're almost 40 minutes in. We've been jumping all over the place. You got any more questions? All right.
So
how are we gonna do this for you? You think like an hour is a good idea?
Were we leading to something here?
We were. You started with the whole Illumination Nation thing, and then I don't even know how we got on this track, but
is there a payoff for the people that are listening to this?
No, I don't know. How about we ask them? Is there a payoff, people, for listening to this? Are you enjoying listening to this? Because we're just talking out of our assholes right now. Hopefully it's entertaining.
It's leading to something. It's leading to something. It is.
Okay.
So
it's like you're even trying to convince me.
I'm not. I'm not even sure that I don't know, man. I don't know if this podcast is gonna.
What? You don't think it's gonna make it?
Like, yeah.
It's too much.
If this is a good, like, it's. I don't know if it. I don't know if it's gonna work. Like what we're talking about.
Just roll with it, bro.
Yeah,
I think we should do a little test subject here. We should send it to some people and be like, "Do you find this entertaining? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Give us feedback. Would you continue to listen to this type of podcast? Are we not going in a direction where it keeps you entertained? Blah blah blah."
So what are we at now? What time? What amount of time?
We're 40 minutes, a little over 40 minutes. So let's talk about your whole little your idea for this whole podcast. Anyway, you didn't talk too much about that.
Well, that's what I mean. Because when I thought about segueing into that, I don't know how we're going to tie that in to what we just talked about.
Well, we've been talking about a lot of stuff that could tie in with just,
We've been talking about
becoming aware,
We went from McDonald's
right
to porn.
Right.
To, somehow we like slipped in some stuff about consciousness.
Psychology, Carl Jung.
And then we went right from that to, we were talking about psychology, consciousness, and then we came back down to gay.
We're just like bouncing here. We're just like
gay therapists.
Gay therapists, and that there's nothing wrong with being gay.
This is a
a very interesting podcast,
all right.
Yeah.
So having said all that shit, ladies and gentlemen, the point of this podcast is to it's to raise awareness, to expand the collective, consciousness of humanity to the best of our ability. It's to expand our hearts and minds and to try to, help wake up to kind of help contribute to creating a better world, because there's so much chaos going on. There's so much McDonald's and porn and, doctors.
Problems with gay people.
There's therapists that don't know what they're doing.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that is a good topic. Therapists who don't know what the hell they're doing.
People are suppressing all kinds of stuff. And so I think it's time to, the way we're going to, the point is you can't illuminate, you can't have the light by suppressing the dark self, the shadow self, the parts of ourselves that we don't like. We have to do the opposite. We have to bring them up and look at them, and that's how you move through. We can't just say, like everybody wants to stop war, but the truth is you can't really stop war until you stop the internal war.
Right.
And so that's going to just keep grinding out and grinding out. The what we see around us is just it's a projection of what's going on inside of us. So we gotta take a look within, and we gotta accept all this, crap. That we gotta accept the parts of ourselves that we don't like. We gotta look at it and face it and kind of like
understand it.
Yeah, you get rid of you illuminate the unconscious mind with the light of awareness. So, that's what this podcast is all about, and we're gonna be talking about all kinds of stuff. Politically, stuff in the government, spirituality, and but being real at the same time.
Right.
And, also, just general truth for on every level. And I'm really interested in when you see people like Alex Jones, or he has a radio show, and he has a lot of interesting material. Or you listen to David Icke or Bill Cooper, who's passed now, and they were trying to sort of bring a certain awareness to humanity, but the problem is they got kind of stuck in the fear and the paranoia, and so I kind of my inspiration for this podcast is to kind of do a little bit of what they do, but subtract all the fear and I've seen them all get really angry and yell at people and stuff, and I just don't feel like there's a need for that. I feel like we can be objective and entertain all ideas and not have to get angry and
Emotional.
and yell at people and cuss, and we have enough of that. I think so I think my interest is in kind of bridging that gap between underground news, but also kind of, you don't want to, when you read a David Icke book or you listen to Alex Jones, you get filled up with all this information, and then you're left sitting there feeling like, thanks a lot. Like, you just, pour all this crap on me, and you have no like real solutions. You're not really. So what is this? So I want to be able to talk about the darker stuff that goes on in the world, but also come in from a place of, spiritual awareness and spiritual understanding.
Come in a place of light.
Yeah. So we can make that transition between because what's coming up, like when we see, so the world is going through a huge transition right now, and a lot of people know it. They're kind of plugged into it. A lot of people talk about it, and there definitely is, the things we've seen, me and you, even like just a guru, like a realized master. I mean, that's not something you see every day.
No.
And
we've seen a few.
Yeah, that was like the real deal. I mean, that wasn't just, you see the Pope just came to the United States, I guess, for the first time. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but he's been touring around, and that consciousness that is behind the Catholic Church is old and arcane. And so what's going to happen is, like, as the light, a lot of people want the light to come in. They don't want to deal with the dark stuff. But the problem is, it's kind of like when you clean something, when you clean your house or something, you're going to clean it, but, there's going to be some stuff that gets stirred up, some dust and dirt, and so it's going to be a little uncomfortable and a little dark for a little while.
Yeah.
But it has to happen that way. Like, so we're seeing all this stuff happen, like all this corruption and all this crazy stuff happening in the economy and with politicians, and all this, whatever happened with 9/11, all that stuff, there's so many people behind it that are aware of all those things, dark things that people don't want to really take a look at because it's too uncomfortable. That stuff's going to come up to the surface, and we're going to have to deal with that. But that's how we create a world. That's how we bring in the light. And so that's what we're going to be doing here, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But we'll also have discussions about just everyday stuff too.
Yeah, it seems like we do that pretty well.
Yeah. So if you watch porn, what's funny about that might actually be a perfect segue into this show.
What's that?
Like, welcome to this show about awareness, because I made an intro and an outro for the show, talking a little bit about kind of like what it is, like expanding awareness and unlocking the mysteries of the universe. And so you hear that, and you're gonna jump right into Big Macs and porn, but I think it's fun. I think it's a good idea. One time, it reminds me of this little excerpt from this book. and this lady was there were these people like hanging out with they were listening to this lecture from these Buddhist monks, and the lady said, this lady said, how do you deal with being celibate? And the monk like thought for a minute, and then he said, when you're coming all the time, it makes a little difference. And they were like, what the hell
Did he just say that?
Yeah. So I think in our mind, we're looking to shift all of our concepts about the way things are, the way things are gonna be and should be or whatever, and finding out that the only thing that limits us is our own thoughts,
Our own perspective.
in our own like self. Yeah, like
How a world is shaped in our head.
yeah, exactly. Like the way like a monk shouldn't be saying that. But the monks know that it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a concept, it's just something that you hold a great deal of energy on. And so it's an issue for you. It might be an issue for you. So, anyway, that's what this podcast is all about. Bringing, awareness to the places that we don't normally want to look, I guess. So, I want to say that I have, talking about gurus, I have there's like a spiritual master up here that you know of. And, what's interesting about her is she actually told me, because I was trying to, her teachings are so unique. Basically her teachings are about it's about reawakening to your divine nature. Through the dissolution of concepts. And so, like, when I was like, okay, but if you think about it, like all religions, like everything we know is built on concepts. So you're really going into this completely like pure non-dual like state of awareness, kind of, if you're looking to get rid of all concepts. But it got to the point where I was trying to come up with a way to describe what she does to, tell people about it or like write it on a flyer and bring it around town or whatever, to get some more people in there. And and she said, I can't use any, like I can't call myself a master or a spiritual teacher or anything like a guru or anything like that, because those are concepts, and we have to go beyond all those concepts. I'm like, oh my God, this is, but she is like it's really interesting and, kind of unorthodox, but she's a master. It's pretty cool. So I'm plugged into her now, and so she's gonna be one person I have an interview with at some point, and she'll be able to, I'll ask her questions and she'll tune in. But I want to tell you something. Mm-hmm. And I want to just say something from myself here on the podcast.
All right.
I don't know how all this works with spiritual masters and disciples and students and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's like I can feel something right now talking to you. And it almost feels like she's like that energy or that essence. When we say a master, like a lot of times they have like a physical form, but it's not a whatever it is. It's just like a awakened consciousness, basically. Mm-hmm. They kind of like take you into their consciousness, so like I can kind of like feel it moving inside me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about that. Like I mean. Yeah, consciously on a bigger level, you tapped into that. They're part of you now. I mean, with a master, they're always with you. Am I not mistaken? Like, throughout history, even people who had masters, that they've always been with them, even if they're not there with them physically. Or they always talk about them, guiding them with their in their life, and they feel their presence.
Yeah. So that's true. Like when they say that, you're like, yeah, you're always with me. I got you. Mm-hmm. But it's true, especially if you have a direct, like if they know who you are, mm-hmm. like, and so the way I want to describe kind of like the way it's almost like, have you ever seen one of those light switches where you can move, adjust the light by moving it up and down?
Oh yeah, the fader switches or whatever.
Yeah. So like that's how it feels. Like it feels like my consciousness is dim, And then when I'm in her presence, especially when I'm in her presence, it's like that raises up.
It gets amplified.
Yeah, my awareness is like I feel like all this light and like awareness. And so then that'll happen like throughout the day also.
Hmm.
Like at nighttime especially, it's really interesting. Like I can feel like an expansion of my being. Like all of a sudden I feel like really awesome, like really full of joy and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So I wanted to say that because you don't people don't really talk about that stuff, but I want to like that's the other main interest I have in this podcast is that I'd like to like kind of demystify a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense to the regular crowd, I guess.
Yeah, like be real with people. Like,
Yeah.
wow, this is really like, and I don't want to be like a fanatic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or come across like a nut.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually feeling these things, and anyone can. Like it's kind of like scientific spirituality type of thing. Like it's these things exist on this planet, and it's not only is it something that's like kind of like neat or interesting, but it's something that can really benefit everybody. Especially if people are interested in world peace or like getting rid of suffering or like trying to find that happiness.
Yeah.
These things are available. So when we were talking about how like a lot of these therapists, because when someone starts to go to a therapist, to me that's really I love, like, I have a soft spot in my heart for like people that are seeking truth, like genuinely, because I know kind of like where they are in their mind to a certain extent, like whatever their story is and whatever they're dealing with, they've come to a point where they're dissatisfied with what's going on in their life, and they're like, you know what, it's time to change things, and there's something to be found, and I know it on some level in my mind, and I'm going to try to find it. And so that usually begins with like, books or like therapists and stuff. And you find that like, a lot of it doesn't, maybe it helps a little bit, but it doesn't really, it's not like really giving you what you're looking for.
It's like that kind of like satisfaction almost, or that,
Yeah. So like, the thing I'd really like to like drive home is that there's so many people in the world that are like, hopeless. Like they genuinely feel like, like in the mind of an atheist, for example,
Mm-hmm.
they're generally intelligent people, but a lot of them aren't really that happy. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Like, you don't really see a lot of like like really joyful like atheists.
Yeah, no.
They're generally like really intelligent, like smart ass people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They make a lot of good points, but they're not like there's something gnawing on the inside. Like there's something there that they can't quite, for as smart as they are, there's something that's like eluding them a little bit, and it kind of might irritate them a little bit, But finding that something, that little something that like people are looking for, is real. Like it's available. It's really real to get to a place inside yourself where you're genuinely, fulfilled and happy. And so that's my main, like, I just want to say that. Like, I can tell you beyond any shadow of a doubt that you can be fulfilled and find that happiness. It doesn't necessarily matter, like, there's all different kinds of paths and avenues and stuff, but you'll find it. Like, if you look hard enough, you'll find it. And it doesn't matter if you're like, where you live, or like if you're married or not, or whatever's going on. Like, you can still find it. Like, you don't have to, leave everything kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's accessible, and it's realistic, and it's practical. And, it's so that's what I feel when I'm in the presence of these masters. Like, I'll feel I can feel it like in my inner my like the core of my being is like resonating. It's kind of like those tuning forks when they like resonate with, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen those in the museums? The science, there's like a, if you hit one of the tuning forks, it sends out like a vibration, and then another tuning fork in the area will like pick the same vibration up, kind of thing,
Hmm.
and like amplify it. I don't
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
that something like that.
yeah. You kind of like where you both vibe on the same wavelength, pretty much,
Yeah.
and you amplify each other. You know, so it just multiplies.
Yeah. So so the time that we're in now, really, like these masters, when you hear like because when I was young, I'd hear about masters, and like I always had this idea like they're like out in the mountains or like in these remote like little village, it's like a little hut like on a
Hmm.
mountaintop or something.
Hmm.
But they're like coming. They're out of the mountains. Like they're. I mean, this master that I'm the Korea master that we were talking about is down in Homestead right now.
Nah, really?
Yeah, they just had a fall retreat,
God, it's been so long since I've been there.
and the master that's here with me in Charlotte.
Hmm.
I mean, she's like a regular woman. She wears
Yeah,
regular clothes.
that's what I was gonna say. Is then what you're talking about is like a master isn't this preset conceived notion that you have in your head. It can be anything and anyone. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's like, and they don't have to be the freaking yogi who goes out in the middle of nowhere and like reaches enlightenment and doesn't talk to anybody, period. And they never come back some random day. They just pop out of nowhere, It can be anybody, but and I think what's important here is that when you do find them, you know,
yeah,
you
absolutely.
feel it.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a something that goes beyond the intellect. That it's almost like something that's it's something that's like the way I experience it is it's like it's almost like more real
Hmm.
than anything else I've ever experienced. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like my it's almost like it's almost like everything else you experience is like missing something.
Right.
And so, but the spiritual path is not necessarily, it's not like an easy thing necessarily. You
Oh
kind of
hell no! Are you kidding me?
like, yeah, yeah, like it's like there's some assembly required kind of thing. Like or really it's more like a dismantling of
Yeah, it is a dismantling.
all
It's
your preconceived belief systems and and so this master that I'm with, I mean, we're talking like she'll tell us like she's like you got to undo everything. Like everything you think you are, every attachment, every belief like, and she just being in a master's presence will automatically kind of do that for you, like dissolving all that stuff.
yeah.
And then her process that she gives us is extremely effective for digging through our own like things that bother you
Hmm.
every day. We're talking about the unconscious mind, and really like as trippy as this is going to sound, the unconscious mind, from what I understand and from what I kind of I guess experience a little bit, is really like it's really like the world that we live in.
Hmm.
Like we're like in the mind, kind of. Like, have you ever seen that movie What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams?
You know what? That's one of his movies I did not get to see, man. And that's like one of his most really deep and like crazy messed up ones, from what I hear.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Uh,
pretty cool. It was almost like when you die, like the notion, like he died in the movie, and heaven and hell was like it was like a state of mind. It was like you could kind of make it whatever you wanted, almost like it was like projecting what was inside of you.
hmm.
So it could be like really beautiful, or it could be like really dark or whatever, but you could change it, which was really interesting. So it was a pretty cool movie. But anyway, like that's kind of like we're in this. Anybody who's ever like taken any psychedelics or anything kind of has that experience that we're like kind of in it's it's like life isn't what it seems to be. Like it's like it's fluid and dynamic. It appears solid and like set in a certain way, but it's almost like the only reason the things appear the way they appear, and the only reason the world is the way it is because we kind of like made it that way.
Oh yeah, no, I mean essentially that's true. We've shaped how the world is, and not even just us collectively, but even you individually on your own. You've made the path that you have now, and even how you look at it, and how you think about it, and how you feel in it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I think it's time to make a lot of this stuff, bring it more down to earth and not be so weird about it.
All right. Because everybody has that side of them, or that potential
Yeah,
to be
or
that
like,
way.
oh man, like look at this person, they're like a nut or something, or like, I just want, you know, I want it to be something that's like, it's almost like, and that's kind of how it is in the East more, like in India.
Hmm.
Like not everybody's spiritual, obviously, in India. Just because you're in India doesn't mean you're, meditating every day.
Right, yeah, you're...
However, there's more of a overall like understanding of it. You know what I mean? Like if somebody is into that, like they understand because they have that Hindu culture.
Right.
They may not like, if their child is like, oh, I want to just, live this spiritual life. They might not like it. Like the parents may not agree, but they know what it is. Whereas here in the West, it's like, what are you talking about? Like you're hanging out in an ashram with a guru. What are you talking about? And they think it's just evil or weird or crazy or whatever.
Right,
And really, it's like one of the most amazing things you could ever come across in life. And, that's available. So I mean, I don't know. All I can say is it's like it all comes down to suffering for me. Like people just aren't happy a lot of times,
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Like it doesn't, like, regardless of their education or their background or where they are. And, everybody, look how many people are, doing all the things that they do. I mean, they're doing that because there's an inner dissatisfaction. It's like you're whacking off in your room and your mom comes in and she's like, what are you doing?
I'm whacking off, Mom. What do you
Trying to
want?
get some satisfaction. That's real. I mean,
Like,
that's what
I can't get no satisfaction with you in this room. Oh, please get the hell out. Da, da, na, na, na.
it comes down to that. So, like that's what like we're all looking for that satisfaction. Kind of like in all different areas of life. And the only reason we do anything we do, even if it's considered a bad habit or, like unhealthy or whatever, is because we obtain some satisfaction from it. And the mind is like linked into that. It's completely like engulfed in the concept, the idea that source is a source of comfort and safety and satisfaction in a world that's filled with chaos.
Craziness.
Yeah, like, it's like, damn, like I have to wake up every day and deal with all this crap. Most of it I don't even want to be dealing with. We have to live in this money system and deal with these bosses, and let's not even get into like just all the stupid people on the side that,
Right.
like driving through traffic or in the store or whatever. And it's like, you're telling me there's a problem if I go home and I grab a burger and a milkshake just so I can like have a moment's peace? Like just a little reprieve, like
Right.
just a little squirt for my hard day's work, you know?
Nice.
Is that so much to ask for?
No, you wouldn't think so.
So, from what I've ascertained, from these masters and everything is like they might be a little like they might have some advice and some, recommendations for how to live your life.
Hmm.
Like, oh, you might want to like the yogis are real kind of strict on the diet thing, for example. Like you might want to think about kind of being mostly vegetarian and like watching where you eat and all that type of stuff. And we might be like, I don't want to. But it's almost or like try to take it easy on the sex. And we're like, oh man, like for a while it seems like it's a pain in the butt. It's you don't want to do that because it seems like your satisfaction is getting taken away from you on some level. So there's some resistance. But the only reason they tell you to do that, they tell you to cut down on the little squirt because there's a big squirt that's coming your way.
Nice metaphor there, or whatever.
And what I mean is, it's almost like when you bust a nut, like your semen is like it's like fluid,
Hmm.
and it contains life.
Yeah, essentially, that's what. Yep.
It's really interesting. Like it
Yeah.
contains, there's something really, mystical almost
Yeah.
going on there.
Yeah.
And it will, I mean, you know how it works.
And for those of you who don't, go research that shit because we're not gonna tell you here.
But it's almost like when we talk about like the concept of the soul, it's almost like there's an essence in you, like that's your core being, like your whole being.
Hmm.
It's almost like you're a penis.
God
And
damn it!
in your soul is jizz.
God damn it! All right, this just went MA here.
And the universe
Yeah.
is the one true vag.
I was waiting for it. It's the vagina.
And so when you're doing like spiritual work, like the ultimate goal is to like, when you use the word yoga, like the real meaning of yoga is union with the divine, or like union of the soul with the like universal spirit. That's pretty much what it means. And so we might be like, oh, okay. The penis knows it wants to unite with that vagina or an ass or whatever you like, but it wants in somewhere.
This is so messed up. It's funny. There you go. Go.
And but the soul, it, like, but the problem, okay, here's the biggest problem with orgasms, and this is the only real problem, is that it just doesn't last long,
Hmm.
And so like we can keep having sex, but there's a state of awareness, like there's a state of being where you're like, it's like a orgasm times a billion. Not only is it an orgasm times a billion, but it like lasts forever, like no matter what's going on.
I think you just got a lot of people who have their perk up. Hearing you
Like,
say that.
and see, because in this world that we're living in, no matter where you are, what color you are, what religion you are, what you believe, we all directly experience duality on a daily basis, ups and downs, ups and downs. So like all the good stuff that we like, it might seem like the religions or the spiritual teachers are like, okay, you want to watch your desires or something like that, and we might be like, oh, that doesn't sound good. Like, I want my good stuff. Like, if you take away the little good that I have in my life, it's just going to be all crap.
Mhm.
But all they're saying is it doesn't last. So we're gonna divert that. We're gonna divert your awareness from good stuff that doesn't last to like amazing stuff that lasts forever. That's all we're gonna do for you here. So your soul, when you have enlightenment from, it's kind of like, if you ever seen, well, you have an Alex Gray picture. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
this
yeah.
is this has never completely happened to me. Like I've had some kind of like experiences, I guess you could say, but I've never had. I hear these stories about these people who like blast off or like go into the cosmos. I've never had anything quite like that. I mean, I've definitely felt like that might happen. Like it's like a spiritual, like you're blowing your load spiritually. So what it seems like is your load gets blown into the universe, like everywhere, like all over the universe. The load of your being is blown throughout the whole cosmos.
Uh,
Now that's an orgasm I could get into. If I have to eat more carrots and maybe cut down on some of this sensory. The whole idea, by the way, for anybody listening that doesn't, is to get the mind is kind of like really, like kind of engrossed, like almost entrenched in the body and the physiological self as its identification. It's like locked in to the senses, to our sensory experiences. So by kind of like, but that's not really what we are, and it ultimately, you know, produces suffering because it's not a lasting satisfaction. I mean, just think about it. Every amazing meal you eat comes to an end, and then like let's say there's something you love to eat, you eat it, and then it's interesting because it's only good like you can't like if you like cake, if you try to eat a whole cake,
cake.
I mean, like it's good at first, and then like it starts decreasing. Like after a while, you're like, I'm sick of this. I don't want it anymore.
Or you get full. Yeah.
Yeah, or the sex. After a while, she's like, just hurry it up. Get it out. Just go. Come on.
Are you sure she's saying that?
Yeah, I guess it could go both ways.
I think more the guy's thinking that. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it depends upon the situation, but yeah.
So the penis and the vagina is a sad it's a sad substitute.
Yeah.
For like a bliss that blows everybody away. So I think that's if you have that in mind, I think it helps to be like, okay, so this spirituality thing, like there's something to it. There's a reason for it. And right now we feel like we're separate with everything. But
that's further than the truth, my friend.
It's
far from the truth.
Yeah, so when you like like when you have like a spiritual master, like an enlightened one kind of thing. And by the way, everybody can do that. Every person on the planet, like everybody there's nobody's like special,
No, everybody has that potential.
Yeah, exactly. So like, for example, you got the Pope over here doing his thing, talking about Jesus. And Jesus is like, he's like, look, man, I woke up. Like, I try to tell you guys you can do the same thing. And you're just, I mean, what are you doing? Like, you're just sitting there, like, listening to these lectures.
What they're doing is they're saying that, you died for our sins so we can continue to sin, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the truth. Bam.
Yeah, bam, in your goddamn
Chris
face.
Davis. Like that's the real truth about that. Yeah.
So you all need to wake the hell up. And realize that that's not what it was about.
Christianity is a really interesting religion because it's almost like it's not spiritual salvation; it's salvation for the ego. Because it thinks that
it's a scapegoat for the ego.
Yeah, it's like it found a loophole, bro.
It did.
Like it can basically say, well, I like junk food and porn, and so that's okay because that's me. And so I just go to church once in a while, and I'm good.
Even though I'm sad and there's a big freaking void and something's missing, I don't know why, but hey.
Yeah. So the heaven comes later, like when you're dead. but it's never now, in those type of religions. But, you can't have, like if you're trying to get to a timeless place, it has to happen now. You know what I mean? It can't come in the future because you're still dealing in time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're never going to find eternity through time. You have to transcend time altogether, and you have to do it in one of your lifetimes. You have to choose to wake back up.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be good. You just get to the point where, all this is, folks, you just get tired of suffering. I mean, it's like Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray. It's like it's the same crap over and over and over and over and over
That's
and
what
over.
it is, man. It's exactly
And
what it is.
after a while, you're like, damn, like there's, I don't know what I believe, but there's gotta be something better than this. Like there's gotta be a different way of existing, because if this is it, I mean, I might as well just kill myself today because this sucks, and I don't know if it's a little harsh to say something like that.
A little pessimistic, but
the truth is, a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, even people that wouldn't admit that, that wouldn't go to a doctor and say, I feel like I want to kill myself. Like, it's almost like they're ashamed. Like, oh my God, like there must be something wrong with you. But I think
even just to realize that they're not happy.
I don't want to deal with this anymore. Yeah. And there's nothing. The thing I'd like to say is there's nothing wrong with that feeling. It's a good sign that you're starting to wake up.
Yeah, if anything, you should be more concerned why you're feeling that way.
Right.
Like, what is giving me this feeling? Like, why am I feeling? I mean, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I should be happy, all right? Well, why am I feeling this way?
Yeah. Yeah. So, damn, Chris, this is one hell of a pod. This podcast is out of control.
Yeah, this is a nice little pilot podcast here. we're an hour and 20 minutes in. I'm gonna give us. Let's cut this an hour 30 even. So we got less than 10 minutes. We can go ahead and talk about this a little more or whatever, and then we can wrap it up. So I think we'll just be touching on those type of subjects, and then throwing in our little sense of humor on it, and whatever you want to call it. Make people realize that this is, it's okay to think about these types of things. If anything, it's good. And if anything, they can hope to, anything we talk about, hopefully it helps them find the path to go down so that they're happier, Mm-hmm. They can evolve with their own consciousness and perspective and start seeing things for maybe a little more towards the truth on how they are in the world, And, and maybe, just hopefully make your limited life here on this plane here a little more enjoyable. Have a little more reason, let's everything start doing things a little better, and hopefully it'll start creating this nice ripple effect, and maybe we can cut all this bullshit out of this life, or start doing so.
Yeah.
Maybe all this bad shit in the world that's going on will start just to go away once everybody starts, connecting on that whole waking up thing.
Yeah, man, that's, I think, a perfect word to describe a lot of what's going on here is disconnect.
Yeah,
people feel like they're disconnected from everything going on around them.
Yeah, and we need to find a way to reconnect back to that.
But that disconnect isn't like, it's all in our mind. There's no disconnect. And so that's what a spiritual master will lead you towards, that realization that there's no separation. There's no division between what you see in the world as
you
stuff.
Create that separation.
Yeah, stuff that you don't like, that you see is stuff that's going on in you. So you just have to kind of turn your gaze around and look within.
Right.
And a master is just it's quite a journey. So a master is there to help you to get through all that because you can't see everything. I mean, when you're dealing with the unconscious mind, they call it unconscious. It's unconscious. They use that term specifically. Somebody who's enlightened doesn't have that anymore. That unconscious mind has become conscious for them. So they can see everything, kind of. And they're in you. You're one. So they will come into your life when when you reach that point where you want truth that badly. You'll find one.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And so they will help you to experience and see all that stuff for yourself. And yeah.
One of the biggest sayings, and if anybody who's even into this knows, and you'll hear it a lot in this type of area, is like, when you're ready, the master will appear, and that's with anything in life, really. And when you're ready to learn something, once you start, putting that in your mind and you're open to it, and things will just start piling in. When you're getting in and you're just out there absorbing stuff, you'll find it. You'll know.
The little load and the big load. I like that. That's funny. Yeah. I'm happy we came up with that.
The little load and the big load.
Blowing your load. Because that's what everyone wants to do all the time.
In one way or another.
And we just pretend, we pretend like we don't. But, the only way to divert that there's a need underneath your desires. And it's okay. Like, it's okay to have that need. But if you just re-divert it to something that can give you lasting satisfaction. Otherwise, you're going to be washing your pants for the rest of your life, bro.
Or you'll be trapped in that cycle trying to find that momentary satisfaction.
Isn't it interesting that it's a cycle, and then you put your clothes in and you set a cycle. It goes through a cycle.
Isn't everything a cycle?
Yeah, it's
in our world.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Everything's based on cycles.
Yeah.
Patterns.
Yeah, so the pattern isn't necessarily a good thing. Like, we're kind of trapped a little bit in our own, like, construct of ourself, kind of. So we just have to, like, break through. It's like an egg, man. I always think about eggs. We're like an egg, and our essence is, like, inside. We have to crack that shit open and let it on out.
Crack that shit open, man.
Yeah. You can make an omelet.
You can make boiled eggs. You can make egg salad. You can make eggs Benedict.
Yeah.
You can make all kinds of things with eggs are in a lot of things. It's kind of like milk. It's like one of those staple foods, you know? Some people don't like it, though. They don't eat it, but that goes with a lot of stuff. Some people are lactose intolerant. Some people can't handle wheat, whatever. But
what's wrong with you, Randy?
I got
it's
problems.
In my Lucky Charms, Ma. It's throwing everything off.
I just don't agree.
It's the gluten.
The gluten, that's where it's at.
It's funny. Isn't that funny? It's like people are like, what's wrong with us? Must be the gluten.
And you know what's funny? There's some kind of research too that came about where it's like you don't really have problems with the gluten unless you have an actual legitimate medical issue.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a big thing. That was like, oh, I can't eat gluten. I can't eat because it's bad. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the way it's processed or whatever. That's probably why normal people don't say you can't eat or you shouldn't eat it. But whatever. But unless you have some kind of medical issue, it's like, enjoy the gluten. Is it actually making you fat and you don't like it? Okay, I understand that, but whatever. But if you don't, what's the problem, man?
I have to say, Chris, I liked this podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Keep it interesting.
Like I've had my own, like, just having this conversation with you, I feel like I'm having some, like, insights of my own here.
Well, that's what's good about it, and I think that'll happen a lot when we talk. And I hope I hope that when people listen to it, they'll experience that as well. Maybe it will help them make that click. Just like, yeah, damn, you're right. Why didn't I think about it like that? Why did I make such a big deal about it? Or
Yeah.
like, why do I think about things like that? It's kind of ridiculous. And you think about it, it is. And we all should be thinking about things that are ridiculous. Why do we still think that they are ridiculous when they shouldn't be ridiculous? What the hell's wrong with us? We got problems. Let's fix it.
Hey, what do you think about Donald Trump?
Oh, God. I'll give the guy, he's a smart man in that he knows how to do business. In him, all he sees for being a president is the dollar signs. That's why he's doing it. He has valid points he puts out there, but I don't know if that will translate well into him being a president, but a good president. But if you want to go into what a president is, there's all kinds of different worlds we can touch into that shit because who's really running who? What's really running what around here? That's what you should be thinking about. Like, who cares about some ass clown trying to run for president named Donald Trump who has a shitload of fucking money and has like a rugged ass fucking haircut, you know? And all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and he starts striking chords with you. All those politicians know the right things to say. That's why they're politicians. They're saying the right things so that you can vote for them and then that they can get in the office. See, time and time again, all the stuff that people say to get in the office, they don't follow through with a lot of them, and if they do, it's only a few amount because there's so many goddamn things that are wrong in this country or in any kind of government that they can't possibly, as a human being, go and fix all of them in that limited time that they have. But we're getting off on a tangent here. But Donald Trump, yeah, if he does become president, I definitely think it'll be the sign of the times. And then I think that will be something that will awaken people who aren't awake, and they'll start realizing that what's going on here in politics because something's wrong. If they don't know that already, because if you're any kind of intelligent motherfucker, pardon my French, you would know that there's something wrong going on in politics.
I don't, I just, how do I put this? Donald Trump is, I love Donald Trump, but not because he's awesome. I just love watching him. Like I love, like I love the stuff that comes out of his mouth, and I
Oh
love
yeah,
the way
no,
people react to it.
it's gold.
And a lot of times he'll say stuff. Yeah, it's almost like watching your it's like you're sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner or something, and you got that one cousin or whatever that just has no filter. And so a lot of times it's like it could be offensive, but on the other hand, you might get some gold out of there, or like some, so he might say something that everyone wants to say, but no one else will.
So he says it.
Yeah, so I think
So he's the guy that gets praised for it because he says it, So everyone's like, yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to vote for you for president.
but he's not, it's like I don't know. It's almost like for me it's just like entertainment almost. Like I mean, would he make a good president? I don't he nobody likes him though. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like he's got a bad attitude, Chris.
He's also very contradictory to himself,
Yeah.
with whole him. Hey, did you ever see that one? There's this clip online. Oh my God, it's him talking about China. Have you seen it? It's a
I mean,
montage, and all he says is China every time, every freaking time. China this, China that, China this, China this, China that, China that. It's like literally like about like 15 minutes of him saying China, and how many times he's been running for presidency and shit. Like you only know what that means is like he's sitting there right screaming in your face where he's freaking gets his money from is China. So that's why he's sort of putting it up on a pedestal, saying it's an amazing thing. It's because that's how he's got rich. He's like all those other motherfuckers that transports all his freaking business overseas because it's cheap, but don't want to give people over here, the opportunity to earn money from his freaking huge business, to make America better with any kind of money issues. Yet he's one of those people over there sending out his freaking thing to overseas, so because it's cheaper. Yet the guy's like, what, a millionaire? A billionaire? Is he a millionaire or a billionaire?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's like a multimillionaire.
Yeah, So why does he care about that? He should be, if he wants to do something really cool and impactful to really get people on board for him as a president, he should say, I've invested my millions of dollars to making more jobs here in this country, to freaking making all these crappy schools better, to this, that, and this, to putting money into America to make it better, you know? Has he yet talked about any of that? I mean, he's talked about, like, yeah, I'm going to make this America a great place again. Okay, how? You know?
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely a wild card. I mean, he talks about the Mexican. See, here's the thing about Donald. He doesn't he it appears he doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like even if he has those personal feelings, like we should get rid of all the illegal immigrants and build a great wall of fucking Mexico or whatever. Like, keep that to yourself, bro. Like, don't say that on TV.
Yeah, you know what?
You know what I'm saying? You want people to like you, man.
You know what I found a little on the topic of people in mainstream media and how they're weird like that. I found out I was watching a snippet from an Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, I watch Ellen DeGeneres snippets on YouTube. I'll admit that. I'll admit that, okay? And it was one where it had Caitlyn Jenner on, Freaking
okay.
Mr.
Yeah.
I turned into a woman, I swear up and down I felt like that all my life. And the reason why I say that is because something that happened during the interview on her show kind of made me believe a little bit otherwise. But there was a moment when Ellen DeGeneres asked Caitlyn Jenner how he felt about gay marriage. And he went on this whole rant on what she would think. What would you think he would respond? He'd be like, "Oh, gay marriage is great. It's awesome. It's a great thing. It's beautiful, right? Right? You think because of a person who should be open enough who wanted to be a different sex, like a female, he wouldn't have a problem with gay marriage, right?" Lo and behold, he said, "Well, yeah, I don't know. I've never really been for gay marriage. This, that. I don't really think it's always been about a union between, the old school way between man and woman or whatever." And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, isn't
like
Caitlyn Jenner a Republican?
See, that's the thing. Does political standpoints actually pass that point? Like, if you're a person who's open enough to feel like you're a woman inside, but you got a sex change later on, like you're really not open to the fact of like people wanting to get married to the same sex. Like that kind of just blew my mind. I was like,
so
how?
What?
How?
Wait, yeah. So wait a minute. Okay, so you got Caitlyn Jenner on Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
Ellen is a lesbian.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's probably trying to support Caitlyn
Right.
over here.
Right.
By coming out. And so what are we supposed to what are we supposed to take from this?
Well, I think it's all one big act anyway to get Bruce, now Caitlyn Jenner, notoriety, fame,
man, it's
money.
Right, man.
To make himself feel better. I honestly, when I heard him say that, to me it almost felt like that kind of almost verified that him trying to get a sex change is a ploy. Like, if it's not, God forbid, if it's, even if it's not, he truly feels that way, then, good. Then, that's great. But, I mean, and then maybe he could have different viewpoints even though he feels like he's a girl, I get that too. But to me, it just seemed not right, But either way.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Marriage should be between a man and a woman. So is Caitlyn...
I mean, you think as someone that's so against judgment from people giving to him about wanting to be trans, why would you still hold some kind of old archaic judgment against people who want to get married to the same sex? That's just kind of doesn't seem right. But go on.
So Caitlyn is a woman, fully. Like
I don't know
100%?
what he did. I don't know if he whacked off his wiener and shoved it inside him to have a man-made vagina. I don't know. But
is that what they do?
It depends. Well, yes, that's what they do.
Like they turn it inside out?
Yes.
Wow, how do you like them apples?
It's some crazy apples, my friend.
So, all right. So what I'm trying to get to here is Caitlyn. Is Caitlyn planning on dating men?
No, apparently, from what I get, from what I've seen, is that he's into, I think it's to some other trans chick. But then again, isn't that person a man? Hold up.
So is it two men here or two
See, then
women?
that makes it stupid. If it's two men, why does he have that belief? I think she might be a woman. Hold on, I gotta use.
I mean, it's starting to get out of control here, Chris. Like, I don't even know. You got Republican transgender people who change their sex but don't believe in gay marriage. That's I think that should, I mean, that whole scenario you just painted there with him having that sex change just to get publicity, I think that would be a great movie. That is a crazy story. A Republican, a conservative transgender man woman who doesn't like gay marriage, who because I don't know, man. Okay, I don't really get the transgender
Whoa,
thing.
whoa, 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 whoa! Hold up here. Newsflash. Apparently, the chick he is into right now or seeing is a transgender as a dude like him. So that goes against his whole core beliefs that he thinks it shouldn't happen. They're both dudes wanting to get with each other. How does that make sense?
They found a loophole, bro.
They did.
It's a man and a woman. They're both. It's almost like they have transcended sex altogether. Like it's a man woman with a man woman. It almost like it cancels each other out.
Wait, but she went to apparently gay pride with Caitlyn Jenner. I don't understand. Then his beliefs are whacked. Why would he believe that? That goes against his total what he believes if he thinks well, maybe he just meant that as traditionally it's a man and a woman and he still feels that way, but it's kind of bullshit. You're with another dude that transitioned into a woman, so technically it's still two guys, essentially. Or at least the two same sex, because they're both the same sex anyway, even if they got transitioned. So how does that make sense? I don't know. Sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. Hello to the real world.
I think it's kind of like brilliant. I don't know if they came up with that on their own, like they thought this up, or it's just a coincidence.
Brilliant.
Because it's almost like he or she can. It's like, well, are you gay? No, not quite.
Because now she's a woman. I'm still a man, but I'm a woman.
It's like I'm a man woman with a man woman. It's like we got all our bases covered here.
Yeah, it's kind of
anything goes. We are straight, bi, and gay all at the same time.
Damn.
Wow, that is taking it to the max.
They just blew my mind. Now I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night thinking about that one.
Wow, that is unbelievable. That is a. You know what? Let's give them a round of applause because that is an entertaining ass story. I don't, and I'm not into the Kardashians. But if they were really trying to go for a real entertaining story for publicity, they achieved it.
Maybe that's what they're gonna end up doing.
I mean, this is like transgender Olympic gold. And Bruce Jenner was in the Olympics. I mean, this guy took it to the next level, man.
That was good.
Like he just reached for the stars.
Transgender gold.
I mean, I'm fascinated by this. I mean, if they got somebody like me talking about this, because I don't like, I don't pay attention to all that stuff. But now Kim Kardashian, see, the problem is the Kardashians, they can't hold a candle to that. Now they're trying to there's a Caitlyn Jenner show, but I think they're going about it all wrong. They need to make a movie with Adam Sandler.
Transitioning into a woman.
I think he did that once with, was it Jack and Jill? I think he was just playing a woman.
Oh, I never saw that one. Oh.
You know what, man? I'm sick and tired of these people that are against Adam Sandler. I mean, leave him alone.
I don't see.
Leave him alone, man. Like, he's not hurting anybody.
People are against Adam Sandler?
Yeah, like, I hate fucking Adam Sandler.
I guess everybody's against anything, really. But,
well, they hate his movies so much. And I've seen most of his movies.
He's got some decent movies. They're not all that bad. I mean, again, back to what we were talking about earlier before we did a test of this stuff. I mean, it's another actor playing another fucking movie. It's Adam Sandler playing another movie. What do you want? Like, some of them are good, some of them aren't. I mean...
Yeah, it's like, why are you... it's like I hate this movie, but like, why are you watching it? Like you kind of have an idea of what you're going into. But I don't think they understand him. I don't think they understand his humor
Hmm.
because it's not. I almost feel like his movies are like I laugh at his movies because they're like ridiculous almost. You know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah.
like that's his style. Like
Yeah.
he's not actually like that like stupid or whatever.
Yeah.
He's kind of like making fun of that whole thing. I don't know. That's the kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah, I got nothing against Adam Sandler. I like a lot of his films.
I mean, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun. His films are all fun. It's nothing serious. I mean, he's barely in any serious roles. I mean, Click was a pseudo-serious role, because it involved family and stuff like that. But for the most part, there was humor in it. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, man. So wrapping it back around
wrapping it
to
around,
Tom Cruise
Tom
and
Cruise.
Scientology. I'm fascinated by him. There should be a movie with him and Caitlyn Jenner and Adam Sandler. I'm
We
just
call it like the
absolutely-
most multiple personalities of Hollywood.
and Donald Trump. I
Well,
mean, if
he's
you
a-
want to talk about entertainment, that's where it's at. I mean, I think I almost wonder. See, the thing is, man, is like that it's like you were saying, like it's a show. I mean, like everything you see about what's going on with politics and the government and all that stuff, like there's other people running the show. And so when you see someone like Donald Trump, it's almost like wow, like it really has become like WWE wrestling. Like it's not real.
Even the news has become entertainment.
I mean, Donald Trump is like it's almost like Vince McMahon running for running for president or something like that.
It is really a ridiculous concept.
It's like somebody wrote this. It's like, all right, we gotta the first things
I'm
first.
telling you, man, it's like one giant social experiment. That's all it is.
But you know what, man? I work in a hotel, and pretty much I don't know how it works with housekeeping, but everywhere I've seen, it's pretty much people that would really not like Donald Trump to be president. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
People straight from Mexico, like the people that he's talking about, really. And to me, it's like, what is this hatred of illegal immigrants? I mean, I don't really understand. Like I don't. Why is that his main focus? Like, oh, let's get them back into Mexico.
Maybe he's trying to reach a target audience so he can become president.
Yeah, but I feel like that target audience is not the majority.
Yeah, it might not be, but there's still a lot of old-ass people on this earth.
Yeah, or like these white supremacist people that are like,
Yeah.
yeah, what did he say? Get the Mexican. Yeah, yeehaw.
Yeah, get them out of here.
This guy, this, people amaze me, man. I just find them fascinating. Like the stuff people actually, like who's out there and the stuff people say and do. So this guy, like recently in the news, I don't know if you heard about this, but Donald was, somewhere doing his thing on the trail, and somebody stood up and said, what are we gonna do about the Muslim problem? I think we need to get rid of the Muslims, and Obama's one of them. Like Obama's a Muslim, and I don't know where they get. I mean, maybe he is a Muslim. I don't know. I mean, has there been an official like decline? Like, I'm not a Muslim. Definitely, I don't really care. I mean,
Even if technically he is a Muslim, like, yeah, okay.
it's like, what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference? Like, I mean, the Muslims that are doing all that shitty shit over there, it's not because they're Muslim. I mean, there are ideals and ideologies that go through, but those are straight up freaking nasty, vengeful, hateful people, man.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like,
that's
what
not-
are you talking about, bro? Let's get rid of the Muslims. Like, that's the least of your worries, man. Like, you obviously have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, like, this guy was on TV, bro. Like, he was on, like, CNN. You heard him. And Donald's, like, nodding his head. He's like, yep. Just some good points.
That's why I'm gonna run for president.
Like I'm already having a good time listening to Donald. He might actually make it, Chris. I don't know, man. Like,
I
because everyone else, like, honestly, man, like, who do we have like on either side that's like like amazing? Nobody. I
well,
mean, we're
Bernie Sanders is setting ablaze a trail right now.
people definitely. I mean, talk about polarization. You got people that love Donald Trump,
that's
and
a
then
different.
people that love Bernie. I mean, Bernie Sanders is. I like Bernie as a man. I
I
love.
did too, but you know what? I'm sorry, but he's not going to become president.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. He's
It's
almost
because
like,
he's too busy exposing people who are going to get him in there anyway. So it's not going to happen.
yeah,
It's
it's
like,
not gonna work. It's
if
like
anything,
Ron Paul.
he should be blazing that shit right now because that's the time he's going to have to say it. You know, when people are going to be able to see it.
Hmm.
Keep saying the shit you're saying because it's the truth. And if people don't know about it out there, they should hear it and then be enlightened. But as sad as it is, I don't think he's going to be able to be president because of that same fact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Bernie Sanders is a socialist. He's a full-on like he's a like an openly admitted socialist. So he's registered as an independent.
And see, there's
And
another problem.
so I don't know how that would work if he's like running as a Democrat. I mean, that's almost like more left than an actual Democrat. So I don't know.
You know what you should do is you should never claim some kind of side like that, but he should just say he's a fucking Democrat.
Yeah, that's what they
And
do.
if people, if he calls certain things out from what that's what that Democrats believe in, then it's like, why is it such a big thing anyway to have to believe that to be a Democrat? Like, shut up.
You know what, man? You know what I'm waiting for? Because I got to be honest with you, man. My only concern is what's going on with the economy right now. It's kind of that's the main like because it's almost like the main line of everything. Like if that goes down, everything else is going down. Caitlyn Jenner's show's going down. Ellen, Oprah, like Rush Limbaugh, it's all going. So I want to make sure that's running nice and smooth, and it's not running too well right now. I want to see somebody that rises up and starts talking about the real stuff. You know what I mean? Like enough is enough. Like we need to like expose these corrupt, powerful people and deal with this. You know what I mean?
True, yeah.
Now that's somebody I can get like a hero,
Yeah.
like
Well,
Hart
yeah. Yeah.
Dent level, like someone that's like holy shit, like someone who's so awesome that the mob is like after him, and
Well, I mean, I
Batman
think Bernie Sanders is
saved.
kind of doing that, but he's not really calling people or trying to call people out like you want, you know? Like,
Yeah, he's just that's what I mean. It's like that's kind of like the classic song and dance of the rich people, but it's not just that's too much of a loose blanket to just
yeah,
say
yeah,
the wealthy. It's
yeah,
not because there's plenty of cool rich people or whatever.
right.
We're talking about these people that are like running the show.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like these super like blue blood like I mean, although what are you gonna say? What are you gonna do?
Old money.
Yeah, like what are we gonna do? Like they have all the power. I mean, like the Pope came in, he went to the White House. Everyone was like bowing. I don't know why. Why are they bowing? I don't. That's more like the Dalai Lama or something. Why can't they just give a thumbs up or like a handshake or a high five or something?
Because everybody thinks he's the extremely holy.
So yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's all very entertaining. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't know what happened with Hillary Clinton and her email. I don't know what's going on with Hillary Clinton. Like she's kind of like she should have played it like who Martha Stewart. Remember her? Now Martha got in some trouble and she got busted and had to go do some time. But she was such a badass about it. She got out of jail, she went right on TV and she's like, "All right, everybody, I'm a criminal and here's my little bracelet that they gave me because I'm on probation or whatever. Here's my little anklet." And it was a real enlightening experience. And she joked about it and laughed. And then she started making some like amazing cake or something, and everyone just forgot about it. Like she really like jujitsu'd that thing like back into her corner. What's going on with Hillary? It's like she's kind of like making it uncomfortable for everybody. Like because she's not really coming out and saying anything about it. She's just kind of like sneaking around. Like you don't really hear from her too much. So even if it's not a big deal, which it seems like it probably is, she should probably just come out and try to like, say something or I don't know, man. So she's kind of like, that's why everybody's trying to like go over to hang out with Bernie Sanders because she's just, I don't know. I think people and I don't know, man. You look at the Republicans and it's like Jeb Bush. Are we really gonna go down that road again?
Yeah. Well, the thing is like you don't. I didn't realize this when I saw him talking. Is he doesn't look a lot like the other Bushes. So it kind of like
Yeah,
I
he
didn't think.
definitely.
I
Yeah,
don't. I didn't think about him in that regards. But then when that was brought to light that he was just another Bush and from the same family, it's like, oh no.
it's like
We
enough is
can't.
enough with you guys. Like,
Yeah,
that's
we
what I mean,
can't.
man. Like, how could people not see that we're run by like these gangsters, basically, like these families. It's like the same people keep cropping up, and anybody who has something cool to say is either shut down or not allowed to get into office. And I gotta say, man, I honestly have no idea what to say about Obama. I don't know what to say. He's like an enigma to me. I don't trust politicians, but I can't tell where he's coming from. You know what I mean? Like a part of me wants to say he's just kind of like playing the game. He is playing the game, but I can't tell what side he's on. You know what I mean? Like, is he for the people? He might be. Like, maybe he's just so undercover. Like, you can't. I don't know. I can't tell. I just can't tell.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I mean, I could say I feel the same way about him too. I mean, it seems like he's just doing his job, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't.
he definitely looks good. Like he looks and sounds a lot better than George
he
Bush.
he's well spoken. And he's smart. He's not like,
Hmm.
he's a little higher up on like the intelligence scale. He's not like, a dumb George Bush. No
Hmm.
offense to that guy who was dumb and, maybe not
I like
so.
how you say that. No offense. How about some offense?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he
I
said
mean,
he said a lot of stupid shit. He doesn't know English well, and he seems to be not so bright. But then
I'm telling
again,
you, that's not normal. I'm serious. That's not normal. I mean, that's. I mean, I've never, in all honesty, like I'm pretty sure I was behind a mentally challenged person last night in the movie. I couldn't tell what the hell she was talking about, but she kept like, I don't know. It was kind of like I couldn't tell if she was acting or what the hell was going on. But it reminded me of George Bush. Because I was like, is this real? Does he have a problem?
wow, I guess that says a lot when you're comparing him to someone who has mental handicaps.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there might be actually like something off with him. Like, I don't think that's either that or he just had some hardcore drug days, man.
Who? W. Bush?
W. Bush. I mean,
Oh,
that's when it's almost, what that reminds me of? It was like Ozzy Osbourne.
oh right, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know how he kind of just come like he can't like he's just done so
He's
much.
spacey.
Yeah, like he sometimes he can't put sentences together and stuff, and but you're okay with it because it's Ozzy Osbourne. It's like he partied hard.
It's like, yeah, Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Osborne.
Yeah. So George, I don't know. Maybe he was just doing lines in the Oval Office. You never know.
Or he just was. Yeah, you never know what the fuck they're doing in there.
Yeah. The funny thing is like when Hillary had these email problems, or like Bill Clinton was getting a blowjob, or all these things these people were doing, and George Bush is probably, God only knows what happened with 9/11. I really like to, that should be priority number one. Like, what the hell happened here? Like, come on. Like, this is,
Mm.
I don't know if, because you got these people, that just think it's totally ridiculous that the U.S. government had anything to do with that on any level.
Well,
And I don't look. It's like, look, we need to get to the bottom of this. Like none of And so I'm sure he did some bad stuff too. Dick Cheney, don't like that guy. That guy, there's something wrong with him.
no, apparently
There's
he.
something wrong with Listen, folks, there's something wrong with these people. Like there's something wrong. All you have to do is take a look. Like George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, the Clinton, like a lot of these people, like even Donald Trump. just all you have to do is take a look and keep moving. Like there's something wrong here. So if this many people are out of touch with like your common instincts, I don't know. That's kind of scary to me. It's like when a dog barks at somebody. When they get like there's someone they don't like because they don't like the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same vibe. I'm getting that vibe from Donald Trump. I'm getting that vibe from a lot of those people.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat. Like you don't even have to say, "Hey, I want to run for office." Like right before you even speak, I know I don't like you. There's something wrong with you. Something's wrong.
Yeah, vibe, gut feeling.
People are just brainwashed, and it almost makes me kind of like queasy.
Yeah, it does. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So.
All right, I think we can get to wrapping this up here, buddy. We've gotten we'll be just shy of 2 hours here. Hopefully we keep someone's attention that long, but that'll be a good test thing there.
Oh my God, Chris!
But you want to go ahead and wrap this up for us?
I can't believe it. Yeah.
So we've mentioned to cover,
That. I don't know what we're gonna do with this. I have to say, because I'm really, to be honest with you, I was really shooting for like an hour.
I think we should just have this out there as like a bonus pilot. Just it's
like behind the scene, like a bloopers or something kind of thing.
Yeah. When the first pilot, it's
because this is out of control, man.
It's out of control, bro. But it's good.
Yeah, there's good stuff on it, so I don't want to get rid of it. But
all right.
Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in, and have a good night.
And till next time,
find yourself a 24-hour McDonald's drive-through. Go home and
enjoy yourself for a few minutes.
Yeah, I guess.
You can go correct whatever you feel bad about doing it for later. Just, we're trying to say, just enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Wow, that was so I hope you enjoyed some of that, but I apologize because that was a real solid rambler. I mean, that was almost like grandpa level rambling. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that on a regular basis. This is just kind of a test pilot run here. So this might make it out onto the internet somewhere. So
it will.
Tuning in, and we'll see you next time.